All right, we're in recording mode. Well, welcome everyone to our Tuesday team call. It is Tuesday, March 31st, and I don't know about where you are, but it is a hot one here in Phoenix. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to work in my office once it's 110 outside without having major air conditioning going. So happy spring, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited about our call today, but as always, we like to start with some victories. And Chelsea, for some reason, we are looking at your kitchen cupboards. Oh, there's Chris. Now we have your husband. And I don't know where my husband is altogether. I guess he's just watching on the iPad downstairs because I did hear him. So who'd like to share something great from the week?
I'll go.
All right. And somebody has, I don't know if it's little doggies barking, but you can just mute yourself if you have some background noise, please. Okay.
It was a really dynamic week. I've heard from some really great people along the way. I've got some associates that are really, trying to get this business off and running and to share their lives with others. And I've heard some great stories so far this week, and it's only Tuesday. So it's turning out to be a really fun.
It's only Tuesday. I know. It feels like we have a whole week behind us, and I think you just froze on us for a minute there, Gina. So I apologize for that. Thank you for sharing. And Lauren, Lauren Raymond, were you going to share?
Sure, I'll share. Last week I made some really great connections with 4 new people and called them up a couple days after that I connected with them and used some really good lingo, and it was just exciting because they were all open to looking at some information. And they were actually, it just reminds me that people are grateful when you think of them, and you want to help them, and they're grateful for it. So it was very positive because it makes me want to connect even more with people and find those people.
That's so great. You want to share some of the languaging that you said?
Sure. I just got this from Kyle. Is it Nakrash? I watched his training. I think it was from New Year's Kickoff. So I was watching a couple weeks ago, and he uses if I could show you a way, and then inserts like their goal or whatever. And just after the conversations I had with these people, I just kept asking lots of questions. And, one gal wants to travel to some exotic places. Another gal's husband is just totally in this job that he can't stand anymore and wants to get out. So I just called them, and I said to Linda's husband, or about her husband, I said, if I could show your husband a way of how he could earn enough extra money to get out of his job, would you be open to looking at some information? She was super receptive, and the same thing with this other gal who wants to travel. If I can show you a way how, you could bring in enough money to go to those exotic places you want to go to, would you be open to looking at some information? And so it was great, and they were, like I said, very open to looking at some information. And, I followed up with one today, and hopefully in the next few days we'll get in touch with the others. So, but that just seemed I like that. If I could show you a way, I just think that's very natural. Feels very natural.
I love that. And I love something you said, Lauren, thank you for that, is that you have to be able to say that, you have to have listened and asked some really good questions. You can't use that beautiful language unless you know something about them. And that's such a great lesson. I think sometimes we have a tendency, especially when we're new, to overshare information before we've done that groundwork, before we've asked those beautiful questions that help us connect. So that's fantastic. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, I'll share something. It's not overly exciting, but it's what I've been working on. And Gina, I may be hitting you up for a few things, but I've been working on something called WordPress, which I guess is a website building. I don't even know what it is or how I fell upon it, but I'm in a really great new Facebook group through a book I'm reading. And so I'm now moving on transitioning some of our tools into WordPress. So for example, the first thing I'm going to post on WordPress is our 30-day success document, which is getting edited way down. If anyone has any suggestions that you'd like to see in that, let me know right away, because I will be publishing that by the end of the week. So therefore, it won't have to be sent as an attachment anymore in our welcome email. It'll just be a link. And it looks really slick. I'm going to embed some videos, and it's going to be really, really great. So I think it's going to be nice to just make things more concise. So that's kind of, I'm sort of in admin mode and in branding mode and all that kind of stuff. You know, once I just, that whole hitting millionaire status just really, honestly, you guys, has thrown me for a bit of a loop. And what it's made me realize, oh my gosh, I'm going to get emotional. First of all, how incredibly grateful I am for every one of you. And second of all, how much I want to step up as a leader, as a collaborator, as a business partner with you guys, and just elevate the tools we have even more. So that's kind of where I've been at. And well, I didn't see that coming, but that's what I'm working on. So Stephanie's in admin mode, and I'm actually kind of enjoying the process, getting back in touch with a little bit more my creative side, which I feel like has definitely been put on the back burner. So we'll see what all comes of it, and I'm excited. I hope you guys like it, like what we're working on. Anyway, I'm very excited. Let's get, I guess, to the good stuff, because I'm very excited to introduce someone. I guess you guys, just about everyone knows this wonderful lady. And I'm so excited to see what she's going to share with us. She actually currently has a very high profile, high stress, many hour job. And I forget that sometimes, because she does so much. She gets more done, I'm sure, before noon than most people get done in a week. She's amazing. But she's a territory manager with Kraft Foods and manages over 18 million in customer sales. So you can imagine that's a very, very busy corporate job. And she has a huge passion for her family, her husband, Mike, and her daughter, Elizabeth, who's 18, and her son, Lucas, who's 12. And her other passion, and I feel it every time I talk to her, is for helping other people achieve their goals. And not just achieve their goals, but even to just elevate their goals and to start dreaming bigger, and to see, has such a beautiful way of helping people see what's possible in their lives and reawakening their dreams and hopes and desires. And she also is an immigrant to Canada, which I am. She came to Canada in 1966 from Greece. She's an aspiring author, and I think very soon the aspiring will be out of it. She's very involved in the Tony Robbins world, one of my most favorite personal development gurus. And my favorite thing about her truly is her heart. I guess for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting her will know what I'm talking about. She just has such a knack for connecting. And every time I talk to her, I feel like I'm just wrapped up in this warm blanket of goodness. And I love this woman dearly. She's my business partner, and I consider her already a lifelong dear, dear friend. And I'd like to turn the call over to Gina. I hope you guys all have a notebook and pen. So Gina, you're up, my friend.
Wow, I am so humbled and honored for that introduction. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much, and it's definitely an honor to be chatting with everybody today. It's been quite an interesting journey for myself. I've only been on this journey a very short time, and some days it feels like I've always been here. It feels like my home. So, you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about just connecting with people. It's been an interesting journey, like I said, so far. It's only been since the end of August that I've been with Isagenix. However, just like I said, it's been a lifelong that I feel like I've been here forever. And because I feel so close to so many of you, you know, Steph and James, thank you so much. And it feels like I've been here forever. But what I did want to mention tonight is, you know, a few things that I've learned along the way with connecting with people is you mentioned it very much, and you hit it on the head. So thank you, Stephanie, about, when I'm with you, I feel like I'm wrapped up in a warm blanket. And I love to feel that close to people, because you get to the heart of matters very quickly. And, some people might put a little bit of a shield up, and just by working with them and just chatting with them about everyday life, you can kind of really find a lot of points that are very common and a common thread along their lives. So we think of each other as very different people. However, there are many common threads along. So if we can find those common threads, we can find a lot of points that we can share upon. So it doesn't always have to be about isogenics, and it doesn't always have to be about health. It can be about, what they like to vacation on, or who their, favorite author is, or what they like to do on, their passion. Do they hike? Do they vacation? So all these common links, it establishes a really safe zone, I found, to share a little bit more about what their common goals are. I mean, where do they want to go in life, and what do they like to do with their family? And, what do they do for a living? Do they vacation? Do they like to travel? Do they have funds to get their children through school? Do they have a family? So just by establishing those very common and being on a very open and a very authentic place, you can find a lot of common areas that you can share your life with. So, yeah.
So Gina, I want to ask you, because I love listening to you talk about why you're doing this, and just the obligation you feel, and how you're getting people to really see the big picture and everything. I'd love you to share about that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, my original why at the very beginning was I just wanted to release weight and hopefully establish a secure legacy and a financial future for my family. For those of you that may or may not know, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 3 years ago now. So to really hear that news, your world stops revolving. So for me, it was a matter of, how do we make more memories, and how do we establish a link so that we can grow as a family and make memories? Because with cancer, unfortunately, it's an area where you may not have that time. So feel very blessed to have that, and to see an area where making that connection on where that person needs to go. Once they hear that story, it becomes a little clearer on where their life needs to go and why they're doing what they're doing. And it starts sometimes with, a health crisis or getting healthier, but establishing their own why and making it very, very clear in their mind, almost from an emotional appeal, that they feel close to it. And once they establish that emotional link to that why, then that door is open. They become vulnerable, and they become very receptive to looking at ways that they can resolve it.
Oh, you just froze for a moment, but I think we got it.
Oh, sorry.
I think we got it. So do you want to give us an example of a conversation you've had recently, or want to role play something? Because I think one of the things that I've really noticed is that you have a very strong posture and languaging around this when you are talking to people. There's nothing wishy-washy about it. There's nothing uncertain about it. And I think that's where I want to learn from you, is just, you're just so direct and so to the point, and you get people there, and you have so many things going on at once, and I'm just in awe.
Yeah, I thank you, Stephanie. I think the real, just like I touched upon, the real big thing is just establishing that emotional connection and really giving them a kind of, I hate to say this, like almost like a no BS open heart, because maybe sometimes they haven't really looked at that emotional connection on why they're looking at to releasing weight, or why they're looking at, possibly needing this as an income because possibly their marriage isn't very strong right now and they need to kind of move into a different direction for their family. Maybe it's also, a young single mom right now that I'm working with, that she doesn't really have a plan to pay for your son's school. And, I also show them the other side that, if you had an opportunity to look at possibly a chance in paying for your son's school and having university for maybe whatever he wants to be. It doesn't matter if you can go from any occupation all the way up to become doctors, lawyers, and so forth. All that stuff in this world does cost money. So, at some point, where are you going to be able to tell your son that he can't go? If you can have the choice of making that choice right now to establishing that secure future for your son, would you be willing to look at that? And if you didn't, what would be the outcome? So if they didn't make the choice on releasing that weight now, what would be possibly their life later on? Or looking at that choice of not taking this opportunity on really seriously. And I would hold your hand throughout the whole thing. Know that you're not doing it alone. So just show them the other side of the coin, that if they didn't, potentially, where could their life not be? And then if they did, where could they be? So the positive and then the other side of it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I've never actually heard it explained, that extra step. What if you don't?
What if you don't?
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of said things like, well, if you keep doing what you're doing now, is that going to help you get to where you want to be? But that's even stronger. That's even more powerful. So it sounds like you're pretty fearless in really digging into it with people.
I try to be very gentle when I speak with people, because, from that gentleness comes my true heart comes out, that I'm coming from a very good, authentic place. And, I will be with them on this journey. However quickly they would like to grow it or not. Everyone is on their own path, but if they are ready to grow it, I will support them. I will show them the resources. If I'm not sure, I've got a whole team, look at you all, that I can come to each and every one of you and say, hey, I've got this special situation. Tell me how I can help, this person, this woman, this young mom proceed.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, what else do you want to, what else is on your heart? And on that, I'm just going to see if I can find a little note I made from I See You in Miami about something like that I heard Lisa DeMeo say. That was wonderful. So I want to piggyback on that. But while I look, just keep sharing what's on your heart. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I found it already just that quickly while we're in that moment. And she basically also speaks from such a strong posture. And she says to people, she looks them in the eye and she says, I will not fail you. I'm committed. I'm dedicated. I'm focused. And if you do this with me, we can go to the top together. And I just got, oh my gosh. I thought that's what we have to convey to people, because to help while they build their belief in themselves, because sometimes that takes time, to know that we will not fail them, that we're not going anywhere, and letting them know that we believe them. I totally believe in you, that you will figure this out because you deserve this. And it's that sense of conviction,
Yeah. Oh, one last thing I did want to also mention that you just brought to mind, Stephanie, so thank you for that. What I've also been starting to say is, when I was at NYKO, I met so many spectacular people. It was so exciting. It was so breathtaking. But one thing that I noticed throughout so many common people, because they're people, you think absolutely, and you were up there, Stephanie, these people must be absolute rock stars. How do they do it? But at the end of the day, if you're doing it, Steph, I can do it. They can do it. She can do it. And I think that's very common. That's what I've been saying is, these are all magnificent people upon themselves. But let me tell you, if they were able to do it, I can too, and so can you, and we'll do it together. So I start having that envision in them that they could be up there on stage, as can I, as can everybody else. All those 6 and 7 income earners and the millionaires, they started off just like we did, just like we are having this conversation right now. So if they do it, we can. So
absolutely. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So what do you attribute to the fact that you're now very close to executive and you're clearly developing great leadership and getting people to that consultant level, the first level? So share it with us about that.
I really am having conversations with each and every one of my consultants, if not every day, every few days for sure. I keep in touch with every single one of them. If I haven't heard from them for a little bit, and it's just a matter of sharing. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's happening in your world? Am I missing out? How can I help? And I always have to have a conversation. What do you need me to do this week for you? How can I help you this week? What do we need to do together to possibly have that conversation with that person that you're not feeling comfortable with? Or, do I have to help you with any particular 3-way calls, or can I connect you with somebody? What do you need to do? And I start getting them a little bit to start making some firm, concrete plans on what they need to do that week. And that way I'm on the schedule. I put it on my calendar and I say, hey, you know what? You had possibly mentioned that Thursday was going to be the day that we were going to have that conversation with that person. Are we still on? So I've had a few people really try to get away from commitments, but I always go back to, you committed to me that you would like me to help you on this journey, and tell me if I'm going a little too fast for you, or what else do you need? And that kind of reiterates their goals as well, because at that time I also mentioned, do you remember we had that why conversation? And when we had that why conversation, you were very much full-fledged into it. Is that still the case? Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for doing that. So, and as I'm getting established a little bit closer to the executive, I had promised that I wanted to get iPads for the pediatric unit at our hospital, our local hospital. So I'm looking forward to that. It's coming fast. I have to go iPad shopping.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm writing notes. It's so good. Does anyone have any questions or comments or feedback for what we've covered so far? I think there's some great golden nuggets in there, and you guys might be muted. So if you don't know how to unmute yourself, just wave and I can unmute you. Hang on, I'm going to put us back into gallery view. So
now, Gina, I love what you said about continuing to check in with people, but doing it in a way that reminds them of what they're up to. So, it's one thing to just check in with somebody and say, is it okay if I push you a little bit or work with you? But to remind them of the conversation that said, okay, this is what you said you're up to. And for you to get there, these are the things that need to be done. Are you still up to that? And, it's a great way to get permission to do what needs to be done, but it's also done with that, as you say, with that heart of, I'm on your side. I'm here to help you get what you say you want. Is that still what you want? And I love the way you do that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks very much, James. And let me tell you, I definitely learned that from yourself as well. So thank you very much that, you always checked up on me and how are you doing and, what's up this week. And a funny thing is you'd say, I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. I was having some Gina withdrawals. So, it's checking in with that person just on a personal level. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And are we still on track with your goals? And how can I help you? So, so thank you.
I'd like to say that I have conversations with Gina 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day sometimes. She really keeps me motivated, keeps us motivated on what we're doing today, what we need for tomorrow, and what are you working on next week, and what can I do to help you? And that's, to us, it's key. It keeps everybody accountable. It keeps everybody surrounded, and it keeps the team moving in the same direction, which is great because, you know, one thing I could say about Gina is I called her this morning at 9 a.m. I didn't get an answer, and literally 2 seconds later, she texted me, "Hey, did you mean to call me or did you butt dial me?" So, you know, the constant connectivity that we have as a team is huge, and that's going to be one of the biggest assets that we have to grow and build this to be, you know, whatever heights that we want it to be. And that's one thing I said to you today that I really appreciate. Not that just that you are, you know, somebody that we're looking at, but also as a dear friend of ours. So, and I would really like to say thank you, because some new associates might not have that connectivity. And by you being very transparent to us, it's awesome. And thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I definitely am, I don't know, I'm pretty humbled. That's all I'm going to say. So thank you so much. And I will always be here for you. Just let me know how we can move in the right direction. Keep on moving forward right to the top.
Thank you.
Well, I think we've had some new people join. Let's see, 786, I think we already asked. 619, who joined us from a 619 number.
Hello, that's Dolores, me.
Oh, hi, Dolores.
Hi.
Hi.
Stephanie Penny for 786.
Oh, Penny, you're here?
I joined late. Sorry. It's been great so far, what I've heard, Gina.
Well, hi, Penny. Thanks for joining in. Oh, and I should have said this right off the top. Congratulations, Lauren Ross. Is she there, or is it just you, John? Not just you, but is she with you?
No, it's just me right now. Lauren's away on business.
Okay, well, congratulations on going manager. Woohoo! Woohoo!
I'm very, very proud of her.
Yes, and I know it's a team effort in our families to do that. So I don't know why my picture's down here as well, since I'm like, oh, Al's watching on the iPad. That's probably why it has it. All right, awesome. All right, so Lauren, what else? I know that you studied a lot of Tony Robbins information, and you're getting certified or are certified now. So would you say some of that training is serving you in doing this business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I'm in the process of being certified. So I'm just waiting for that. The strategic intervention coaching, I did complete it. So that was one of my goals that I started out last year, and I did complete it. It really worked around some really great tools for connecting with people, connecting on a very intimate level, and really looking at some of the barriers that are holding them back from their goals, their personal relationships. So it might not always be. It always starts with ourselves. And you know, if it's been said in our organization, different areas, that we stand in front of ourselves from our own success. Well, it's exactly what happens in many relationships as well. We stand in front of ourselves from becoming intimate with that person because we don't want to be vulnerable. But I choose to look at it I choose to be very transparent, and through transparency comes authenticity and an open heart, and then you do get closer with people. And that sometimes gets them in a position where they like to push back because they don't like to be too close, because sometimes they might not feel comfortable with what you'll find out, or judgment comes in. However, from being in that vulnerable spot, they can start kind of disassembling what's holding them back. And usually there's a common thread, and not just one, in many areas of their life. And it's usually, if it's a trust issue, they're having trust issues not just there, but in many other areas. So just by dissecting and taking a look at, you know, possibly their childhood and so forth, you can really start unraveling some of the issues. So it's been a great ride and a great journey with the Tony Robbins Company.
Well, if you ever need any practice unraveling childhood stuff.
I'll be right down to the warmth of the 110-degree weather. I think I can handle that.
All right. So I don't know if you had anything specific you wanted to cover further. Otherwise, I was going to just throw it out there, and I know we didn't plan this, but I know that you're probably willing to be fluid and flexible. And what about if we do a role play?
Sure.
Okay, so let's say I think Chelsea volunteered.
Yeah.
I just texted her. But so let's just say, for example, that Chelsea's a friend of mine, and I've been telling her a little bit about Isogenics, and she's really interested, and you're going to be the one to maybe have the call with her.
Okay.
And how you have those, how you have that conversation and get to people's lives and everything. Is that something that we're willing to just jump into?
Sure.
Okay.
I do this a few times a week. That's okay.
What's that?
I do this a few times a week anyway, so we're okay.
So I'm going to just hide the non-video participants. All right. So we'll do it, I guess, as a standard, as if it was just a regular three-way call, or do you want to pretend you're face-to-face? You can do the scenario, and I'll play along as the intermediary.
Yeah. I could do face-to-face if that's okay, Chelsea?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So,
Easier connection face to face. So.
okay. All right. Well, I'll just introduce you, ladies. Oh, we're having tea or coffee. Just so great that we could meet.
Well, thank you, Chelsea. You know what? Stephanie.
But wait, let me introduce you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So Chelsea, I'm so glad that you were able to take the time to meet with us, and that we were able to get Gina, because she's so busy. And I've already told you a little bit about her, but she is just building an outstanding team with Isogenics. She's an incredible coach with a huge heart. She's so knowledgeable, and I love working with her. She works in corporate Canada right now, but Isogenics and helping people just blossom is her true passion. And Gina, I've been talking to Chelsea, who's been my friend. We go way back in Calgary, and she's kind of seen my transformation and is really curious. And she has a little guy at home, and she'd love to stay home with him and be able to possibly even look at this as a business working from home. So I would love for you ladies to chat about this, because Gina's just such a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, thank you so much, Steph, for that wonderful introduction. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. Wow, just it's wonderful for you to take a little bit of time to join us today. And thank you so much. I'm feeling very honored that I've been chosen to chat with you a little bit about Isogenics. It certainly has been a dynamic whirlwind of growth for myself. But tell me a little bit about yourself. What are you looking for? I mean, I hear that you're a very busy mom of a 19-month-old, and you're potentially possibly looking at staying home. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your family.
I do have a 21-month-old son, and I want to stay home full time. And I love helping people. I love the idea of this. But I do need to lose weight, and I'm scared of connecting with people without looking like I'm in peak physical condition.
Definitely. And you know what, I have actually felt exactly what you've been feeling. It's really, really being a busy mom of a little one always chasing behind. It's difficult sometimes to always be on top with the gym. So I completely understand. It's interesting that, Isogenics, I'm not sure what Stephanie has told you, but we're definitely a solution-based organization where we do definitely come from a place of helping each other and helping others attain their goals. So you're looking at releasing weight, possibly looking at, starting your own business at home, which is a win-win. It's Isogenics is definitely one of the fastest growing health and wellness organizations in the world. And it was always like a plus 62 last year alone. So it's definitely growing in the right direction, and it's formulated by an actual Canadian physician. So that's wonderful, you being Canadian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, yeah. So yes, so tell me how much weight you're looking possibly of releasing, and are we talking about any other health concerns that we should be aware of?
I am looking at a good 75 pounds or more ish. And I want to like build up muscle too. And I do have like abdominal discomforts and few digestive issues there, but nothing major.
Okay. Well, those are all very doable. We have a club actually that's called the 100, 200, and 300 pound club. So if you're looking at releasing a little bit more weight, however, you're very much in line to, you know, the average person that needs to release some weight. It's just a matter of, you know, how much weight you'd like to lose, and establishing that muscle. So we have a variety of different people that we can, I can use as resources, and maybe have some great resources to look at establishing muscle. We have great moms that are running Ironmans and triathlons and so forth. So yeah, we can get you trained really well. And releasing weight. We also have some established wonderful resources that can help you with your meals as well. So at this
I'm
point,
not alone in this.
and that's definitely what, thank you, that you're definitely not alone in this, because
I like that.
you get myself, so, but you also have Stephanie as well. But yeah, so we don't really definitely want to feel that we're stalking you. However, we want to make sure that you're going on this journey together, and I'm going to make myself accessible as well as Stephanie to keep you accountable and to keep you on the narrow path that can help you attain your health goals.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, you know, we're obviously a busy mom. So what do you do on your off time, or what would you like to do with your family potentially? Do you like to travel? Where do you see your son's education going?
I would really like to be able to travel and buy a house. That's our number one goal right now, is buying a house. But travel, and I'd like to spend more time with my husband, especially in the summer. He works every other Saturday, and he's not even home till 7 most nights. So I want to change that.
So you would be obviously open into looking at a great organization that could help you with all those goals, from what I understand.
Definitely.
Releasing weight, starting a new business, staying home with your son, doing more traveling. So you know what? We love to travel ourselves. We're big Disney kids. We've just been on our 3rd Disney cruise. And let me tell you, your 21-month-old would just absolutely love it. So he would have a blast.
I've always wanted to do a Disney cruise too. So
yeah. Oh, let me tell you, that is a blast. You'd love it. So doing that cruise and watching his face light up with Mickey and Minnie would be an amazing journey. So definitely, I mean, we can definitely take a look at some amazing packages that would suit your needs. And yeah, so we can suit your needs. So tell me a little bit about what your day would be like.
I usually wake up and I get Caden up. I'll make a coffee and get his breakfast going. I don't always have, well, it's not that I don't have time, I just forget to have breakfast a lot. So by lunch I'm starving and just having whatever I can come up with while I'm making lunch for Caden. And then while he's napping, I try to work a little bit. And then it's time for dinner. So all while chasing around my little one. So
yeah. Well, we could definitely nourish your body so you could keep up with his momentum, so you can have a little bit more energy too. And plus it would be really wonderful to have your products paid for. You know, I know myself, it's tight always to be on a budget, especially with
Uh-oh. Gina! You froze, if you can hear me. How do I unfreeze Gina?
Oh,
There you are.
There you are. So what do you think about that idea, Chelsea?
I like that idea, especially getting my products paid for. It's like getting my groceries for free.
Yeah. So do you have any other questions for me that I haven't answered potentially that would stop you from ordering your package today?
I can't think of anything right now, but I'll let you know if I can. Everything sounds perfect right now. It's exciting.
It is very exciting, and we know I did almost forget to mention that, you know, Isagenix stands behind all of their products so much so that they actually do give a 30-day guarantee on your product. So they know within 5 days you're really going to notice a difference. In 10 days you're going to know whether it's for you or not, and we can customize it for you.
Okay. So I don't have to just get anything. I can pick everything I want.
That's right. So I guess the only last question I have for you is French vanilla, strawberry, or chocolate?
Strawberry and chocolate.
Perfect.
Yay! Really great. There were some really great nuggets in there. I loved how you, the thing that the way you started it, that you're honored to chat with her, that was beautiful. I mean, how heart opening is that? And asking Chelsea to tell you about herself, and then that you're going to make yourself accessible. I got lots of notes. And then you really listened and you restated every one of her goals. You said, so are you open to hearing about this so that you can? And then you restated all of her goals. So that was really a beautiful thing and totally by the book. And tell me about your typical day. That's probing to find out what her lifestyle is like, how she eats and everything, to find out if there are any health issues or things that we need to be aware of. So that's incredible. And then a beautiful decision collecting question, you know, or do you have any other questions? Not just, if you guys noticed, Gina didn't just say, do you have any other questions for me? She said, do you have any other questions that would prevent you from getting started today? So that sometimes is the missing thing. We get people to that point of the decision, but we don't collect the decision. We don't say would you like chocolate? Where would you like this shipped? Is there anything else I can answer for you to help you make a decision to join us today, to join our team, to get started? So that was fantastic. Great job.
I liked the close a lot too, the question part, but also just the strawberry, chocolate, or vanilla. Like it's playful and it's not pressured and it's nice. I like that a lot. It makes you laugh, but it forces an answer still.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that one, and it was such a good reminder. I sometimes have used that. It's like, so the toughest decision you have now is how many chocolate, how many vanilla, and now we have to say, I say strawberry, vanilla. Now, it used to be easier, chocolate, vanilla, or both. Now it's like, how many strawberry, chocolate, or vanilla shakes?
I loved that.
Yeah.
Thank
All right,
you.
that was great. Well, I would love you guys to share. These ladies stepped up absolutely unprepared, jumped right in. I thought did a great job. So please share any nuggets and takeaways that you guys all got. You might be muted, so if you're talking and we can't hear you.
So it was a
This
great.
is Penny.
Okay, James and then Penny.
Go ahead, Penny. Okay. And it was a great reminder that we don't have to prepare nearly as much as we think we do, because you just said to Gina, are you willing to just jump in? And you know what? I mean, you know, it's just the natural instinct of asking questions, being curious, caring about somebody, you know, repeating stuff to check to make sure you heard it the way they said it, you know, and then when it feels like you've created enough interest and understand what they're looking for, to just ask them to make a decision. And you know, I mean, you did that so beautifully, naturally, Gina. And yeah, it's not like we have to study for hours on somebody before we phone them. But just phone them. Just talk to people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, and it could take, sometimes that was another thing, that it could take 8 exposures before somebody joins. And Chelsea could have had a lot of questions, and she might have had pricing questions or all kinds of things. So that's really good. Oh, and something else that I loved, and I can't remember which, if it was on a podcast I heard it or at one of the events, but even before starting or during the meeting, saying, is there anyone you need to check with in order to make this decision? Because if there is, they should be in the meeting or on the call with you. So, you know, that way you don't get I have to ask my husband if I'm allowed to do this, or I have to ask my doctor, or I have to ask my whatever. And when you position that with a good posture, like basically the underlying little message to me is like, are you capable of making this decision yourself? Are you able to make that decision? And most people, when you preface the whole thing like that, they're like, yeah, I can make my own decisions. Of course I can. So that's great. Thank you. Penny.
Well, wait, I have a quick question about that. When are you saying that you should ask that question before you even set up the T or the three-way call?
Well, if you have a situation, for example, where let's say you know that the person may have to ask their spouse, let's say it is a stay-at-home mom and he's the breadwinner and they have a very traditional marriage, for example, you might say, you have to, you know, is there anyone you have to check with once you decide if this is for you? Is there anyone you have to check with? Or is this something, will your husband be part of this decision? Because let's get him on the call with us, or let's get him to the coffee place with us, or whatever. So.
Okay.
I have to say, honestly, it rarely has come up for me where somebody said that they had to check with the spouse, but I do hear of it happening sometimes. So, did you have a nugget?
Very cool. Yeah, and you already mentioned it, but it's the one that, I mean, of course, the whole thing sounded just so natural, and I loved it because she didn't have an agenda. She's not like, oh, I know what I'm going to say. She didn't, because she didn't know what Chelsea was going to say. And so she was just so listening and so responsive and so present, and that was just really clear. But what really, really stuck out to me was when you said this at the very beginning, how she said, it's my honor to talk to you today. Like, that was just like, wow, I am going to start saying that, like, and meaning. I mean, it really is. I love that, Gina.
Thank you so much.
That was beautiful. And Penny, thank you for saying that too, about the, you know, how natural it was. I have people sometimes say, can you send me a script for three-way calls, or send me a script for welcome calls, or send me a script for this. And you really just can't script it. If you're truly curious and want to connect with someone, it could go into so many different directions. There might have not been any kind of weight loss desire. There just might have been, I want to retire my husband in 2 years. There might, you know, there are just so many different directions. So it really, I just think, become a good question asker. Become someone who's curious about people. And you can practice that anywhere. Al and I were out at breakfast, and our gal just had such a great energy. And I said, what do you do besides work here? You just have such a great energy. And it turns out she's studying. She works at a hospice. She does volunteer work. Like, she's just this beautiful human being. And we connected about so many different things. And then it turns out that, you know, she and her boyfriend would be interested in finding out information about what we do. And I didn't mention isogenics or weight loss or any of that, just kind of basically what we do. Another gal, we were at Bed Bath & Beyond buying a humidifier, and she was quite heavy. So I was kind of thinking that I would like to connect with her. But what came out of it is that her husband works, he's a golf pro, and they travel all the time. They don't get, she's getting a new job every 2 or 3 months. And she loves sales and would love to be able to be, you know, selling cars or something like that. She loves that, but she just moves so much that she basically gets, you know, working in a store as a sales clerk or something. So again, a totally different possibility opened up than I would have thought by just looking at this gal, thinking, oh, she has some weight to lose. I'll see if I can kind of go there. So it's just asking those questions. How long have you been working here? Oh, where did you move here from? Oh, for your husband's work, what does he do? So I love that. Thank you for showing us such a beautiful example of question asking. Anyone else, a takeaway or a question before we wrap the call up? I wish I could see everyone at once. I don't know why this, we'll figure it out one of these days. So, you know, you guys, this is an interactive call, and we do love to hear from you guys. And I know when I'm doing a training, I like to know that people learn something, and I'm sure that would benefit Gina to hear from. So I'm going to take one more. I know there's somebody else who learned something who would love to share with us before we wrap up the call. And probably everybody's muted, I'm thinking. This is what I'm seeing. So there might be people talking, Gina, and we can't.
Hi, I'm here.
I know you're here. All right, well, we'll wrap it up then. I want to thank you so much. I'm really excited about this, you guys. We're going to be switching things up a little bit. So next week's training is going to be me again. And I'm going to be actually doing a really fun training on different personalities and how to talk to people by the different personalities. And I know there are all kinds of, there are colors and letters and everything. I love the simplest one because I can remember it is animal personalities. So we're going to be learning all about the different types. There's a monkey personality type, a lion, a koala, and an owl. And I'm sure I know there's an owl sitting right there in the red shirt, for example. James is an owl, a bit of an owl. And it's really, you know, the way we might invite someone to an event would be very different depending on the animal personality type. So I'm really excited to do that training. The week after that is James, I think, right? Or wait. I think it's James. And then on upcoming training, Brooke's going to be training on how to talk to start group generation and how to have those conversations. And then I would love to invite each of you to think about something you might train, like Lauren, for sure. I want you to do one. And Penny. The newbies get a pass for now, maybe, but those of you who have been around for a long time, I know every single person on this call has something to offer, and I really believe I can learn something from each of you. I can learn something from the person who joined Isogenics today. I really believe that. So I want to see every one of you step into some great trainings because I really believe you can all do it, and I look forward to learning from you. Hi, Kaden. Is it bedtime? Night-night. Oh, so sweet. Anyway, thank you guys all for joining. So next week, same station. It's going to be a really fun one. And invite your teams. And I look forward to seeing you all then. Mwah. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you,
Stephanie.
Gina. It was phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.